Hello, welcome to AAA Wargaming. Back for another battle report on the Cardiff. So up to now, I've my first game was against Darren Williamson with his Empire, and I got 9 points out of it. And then I played Tommy Tucker in a blind deployment with Breakthrough, and I managed to get 13 out of it because I panicked off his skinks. Gotta love those cold-blooded tests failing at the right time. So I kind of diced him. So but now I'm on 21 points. Yeah, no, 22 points. 22 points. And who do I get paired against? Hi, Ball Elf player from another YouTube channel, the one and only Lucky Sixes Tom Barker. So, a bit of a YouTube off. Uh, so, yeah, round three, I got paired against him. And I remember thinking about this list and looking at it and going, I do not want to play this ever. It's your classic highborn elf um, shooty list with a pyro dragon and sea guard and all the rest of the horrible stuff. Probably a flying monster. He knows how to use it as well. He's used it for quite a number of years because I've watched the battle reports. So, but cool. It is like playing a bit of a ninth age celebrity though. I wouldn't be surprised if PTG Proxy Tamer Gaming are probably one of the biggest channels in the world. But it was a really good fun game and another special deployment and objective. So let's go into that. So what Rob Cousins had done is we divided the board into quadrants. So, sorry. So we divided the board into quadrants, and you had and basically you couldn't deploy within. One of your quadrants was a deployment zone, so it was a bit like refuse flank, but there was a hitch. You couldn't deploy within 9 inches of the centerboard. I know on the map it says 18, but that was a typo. It's actually 9 inches from the centerboard, so at most you'd be 18 inches away. Um, I know effectively it's like secure, but it's secure the battlefield, and you get points um, for at the end of each game term. I think we started it from game turn two. I'm not sure, but effectively, so if you just had scoring units in each of your own zones, you both got 1 point, and the neutral ones counted as the ones. So as we're looking at this map, top left and bottom right, if you had more scoring in those two together, you got 2 points. And then if you controlled your opponent's one, you got 3 points. So let's say I was in zone A on the bottom left, on the red one. I had a scoring unit in that. Lucky Sixes doesn't have any in there, but he has one in his deployment zone. We we did it this way just for ease. So we each scored one there, and then in the neutral zone, let's say I had two scoring units top left, and he only had one in the bottom right. So therefore, I've got more units in the neutral zone, so I would get the 2 points. And we just count them up with it. We just counted them up as the battle went on, and and just went through that way. So that was how it was. But so another really cool one. Looking at his list, like this is it, like that High Prince. I wasn't really worried about the High Prince in combat with my avatar or anything else because I was like, unless you've got flaming swords off, I reckon my avatar still rips you apart, especially with thunderstorms. But being a master of Camry Tower, there's so many spells. It's a really, really good thing on the High Prince because the number of spells he's got out and it's just that's the really dangerous one. And then he's got an adept on pyromancy. So previously I think he's run a master, but the adept is quite a good one because it's still a reasonably fighty kind of thing. I've got to deal with it, but it's just another breath weapon that my army has to deal with. And then with glittering lacquer, what does that do? I think it's the Aegis. It's not the Aegis because he doesn't have an Aegis, but it's a reasonably good thing. And then Order of the Fiery Heart for that good stuff. But yeah, he's quite well armored. He's get a 2-up armor, but he's a young dragon, so maybe I can get through on that one. The commander, I didn't really know what that did beforehand, but now I do. So with Queen's Companion, gives everyone quick to fire. So it was going in the Queen's Guard, and he's got the Moonlight arrows, and so he can shoot attacks, stuff like that. Either way, it was. He only gets one attack though with the longbow, but he's got Moonlight arrows similar to the Queen's Guard, so he was going in there. While the High Prince was probably going in the Sea Guard. He's got he's got the Sea Guard with the banner, Navigator's banner, so I believe that's distracting. I want to say, but either way, it's not very familiar in this battle. And the Seagull themselves, just they're quite tough to take on. They've got lots of shooting, and also if I charge a unit near them, they've got cover volley. I think it's 12 inches within another unit, so it's going to be quite tricky. The Citizen Spears, I think I was just going to be careful who gets charged by them, but otherwise I wasn't really that bothered by them. I think my monsters eat them alive. The Phoenix, Frost Phoenix, I was a bit worried about this battle. I thought that was a really good model because, especially with all the deployments throughout this tournament, um, they're quite mobile and they can just pick small units off because everyone was talking about this, the objectives. They saw it and went, "Oh, this is like MSU tastic." So my only question to Lucky Sixes, and I didn't ask this at the time actually, but I remember looking at wondering why. Why a Frost Phoenix and not a Flame Phoenix? And my logic was, if with lots of MSU and you've got the sweeping attack, it's quite dangerous. But that's my only thing because Flame Phoenixes I always find worse because of that sweeping attack, and they just fly around the board picking off your small units. But that was also going to be quite worrying for me with my small dryads. They're quite immobile. Once that thing hunts onto them, it's a bit like a hunter seeker missile. Five Knights of Rhymer. Wasn't that bothered by them. I can zone them out with my Wild Huntsman. So yeah, Giant Eagle was going to be annoying. I was like, I've got to kill that off quite quickly, just otherwise I'm going to get chaffed quite quickly. And then Queen's Guard. If I got a chance, and the Seagulls, if I got a chance to kill one of these things, I was going to take it. So my army, I think the Avatar is still the strongest thing as long as I stop flaming swords. But and I'm going to have to use my Dryads to go into and get scoring in the other area because my other small Dryads I'm going to have to keep quite well protected because of that Frost Phoenix. And then just my big thing with my Scout, if I get first turn, I'm going to be quite aggressive to try and pick off some of his shooting. And then yeah, and use my blade dancers to probably hold one flank where I put my forest while trying to advance into the other one with my big dryads and some other units as well. But other than that was my main thing. In terms of magic, I went for Spirit of the Wood just because Healing Waters, and he had quite a few. Um, he had quite a few blocks as well. So I thought if I get my Avatar in there and I can cast Spirit of the Wood on him, that's quite good. It also gives me the flexibility of being quite aggressive with my blade dancers if I need to, and I think that's quite a good one. And I also went for Master of Earth just because I thought I'd need a few more just if I started getting into a fight over shoot range damage, I was going to take the need that one. He took Pyroclastic Flaming Swords. I was not surprised by either of those spells on his adept. And then Master of Khemri Tau took Raven's Wing, Awaken the Beast, Quicksilver Lash, and Altered Sight. I think they're all good options. I think they picked them right. Yeah, so I think his magic is outdoing mine. I'm certainly more worried about his shooting. So firstly, we had the roll off, and as you can see here, he chose sides. So he chose that top right as we're looking at here. So that had so on the map itself. So we'll go through the terrain first. So he had a choice of either one of these four quadrants. We had a water feature down here with a field. We had a wall. We had a hill up here. We had another wall on the top left with a forest in, and then I put my forest just from there. And then we had two bits of impassable terrain. So I was like, okay, because I'm choosing, I was like, yep, gonna have to take Master of Earth on this. And then what he did is he chose this side, which I think was quite clever because it's got the hill, and he's got the forest if he need, the field if he can hide in there. He keeps away from this forest, and what he doesn't want is he doesn't want this side obviously because I can take Master of Earth, and that means he's got it all day. And this is not great for him because one, you still got the hill over there. And the other part of this is he's got this impassable terrain here. He's put in my side, so I can't naturally line up to go straight at him, which is something because if it's only 9 inches either side, I'd be thinking about. Now, what my logic was here is I was thinking about this. I was like, do I let him go first and then just sit off and let him waste a turn and then advance? And I thought, I've got a scout. My pathfinders hopefully can push him back. So I just went for it. I was like, okay, so end of the day, let's keep this simple. I'm going to run at him. I'm not going to push into a corner and take a low loss or a 13-7. I'm going to go for him. And either it's going to go really well because I'm going to overrun him, or it could go the other way. So that's what my thought process was. So what I did was I put a small unit of Dryads on the far left, the Blade Dancers on my and their plan was just to drop into his neutral zone and just make sure I can at least compete it on that side. I then was going to drop my blade dancers over on the left, and they were just going to secure my flank with the BSB. And then you can't see it here, but my avatar is there. I did think about putting it this side, but I put it that side, and maybe I think maybe I think in my logic in my head he was going to come round to this side because he wouldn't have wanted to advance into this terrain with the wood because I think that's just facing my advantage. So I've got to accept that, and that's why I did this. Um, I think I put my dragon behind here, and it's just so I can, because it's fly, I can easily hop over there and just dominate the center. And then I've got my big unit drives to go straight at the center. My two units of heath hunters come around here, and my wild huntsman. My plan was to use wild huntsman to storm round here. And actually, at this point, what I really should have done was push them over here so that they would just hold this flank here with my blade dancers there, and then my drives can just come in and sit here, and at least I just hold this quadrant, and then I come my other one back here. So that would have been a better way of doing it because all that at the moment has happened is I've just blocked them off here. And it is also, I've got two units of scouting. I wanted him. I thought he's not going to come into there, so I should have just planned for this being a really, really congested side, and that would have just given me a load of space on this side just to keep him, to force him down this way into my monsters. As it were, this is what he did. So he had a look at it. So on his top hind corner, he's got the spearmen here. So obviously they're going to come around here and just take this quadrant and potentially get into mine. That was my thought. He's got his two bolt throwers here, so plenty of field to fire. That bolt thrower on his left hand side is actually on the hill, so he can see over. He's got his eagle. I can't remember which one it is. Is it? Yeah, I can't remember which eagle it is. He has a name for him, doesn't he? For two and only one here, but that's hidden behind the hill, so I can't get to it unless I put my pathfinders there, and then I'm in a world of pain. He's got his phoenix around here to keep them back with the dragon because they're quite mobile. He's kept the Rymanites back here just so because they can very quickly move out if necessary, and it also just means they're quite secure, and it stops me having potentially 18 inches and putting my pathfinders behind him in his deployment zone, which was an option. And then he's got the Queen Guard out here and the Spearmen, because you can see me coming around here. And what he's very cleverly done is he's put them in front of the water feature, because that is something I didn't think about. Cool. But yeah, so I think my plan is still extant. So after Scouts, I went down. So this is Vanguard and Scouts. So I put my Pathfinders down there, so 18 inches away. And I don't know how I screwed this up. I managed to, because when I go forward on my next turn, because you can see what I'm going to do, I'm not within 15 inches with both my units. So I'm 18 plus them, and I can't quite get close enough or something. I messed up somehow. Don't know how. And then I vanguarded my Heath Hunters forward. As you can see, this is what I've done on my turn one. I've blocked my Sea Guard. I blocked his Sea Guard even. I don't know what it was. I did it wrong. But what you can see I've done now is I've advanced forward. I've used one of my Heath Hunters to block the Lothan Sea Guard so that he can't charge into my shooting, and I'm hoping I can wipe out as much of the Queen's Guard as possible. I'm hoping he does charge the Heath Hunters, and then I've got the Wild Huntsman behind, and that's just so potentially I could go charging in there. That was my plan, yeah. See what happens. It's interesting. I know why. I didn't forget this. I forgot the Sliver Lord. That was the other bit. Sliver Lord stopped me. Yeah, same. I realised I put them in there to hope that he would charge in, so that I could charge my Wild Huntsman and my Dryads, and there was another model as well. Because what I've done and with my avatar is moved it up there. So if his Sea Guard move in to my cavalry, it's not that difficult a charge to it's not a difficult charge to make from my avatar as well, so I'd have a flank and everything else, or at least get them in the front. I think that's good. You can see with my blade dancers, they're just the other side of the mass, so they're still in the forest to gain soft cover, but you can see I'm trying to close that gap so that he can't start moving around with his flyers. As you can see, my Dryads have moved into this quadrant, and my other Dryads at the back have done nothing. In Magic, I managed to get Oaken Throne off, and I forced through Stone Skin, but it was on a miscast, and I lose. It was 666 that came up, so I don't. It didn't go to a 777 because I wasn't. It wasn't a It wasn't a +1 from the flux cards, but it wasn't, and I hadn't used 5 dice, so I think I just used like 3 6 or something. But in short, it came up as that, and I got Stone Skin off on the Dryads, so now I've got Res 7 Dryads. In hindsight, I probably, because of uh, the proximity to them, I probably should have put it on one of the Pathfinders because then it protects one unit from what comes next, to be quite honest. But as you can see in shooting, I've already started hitting off the Queen's Guard, and I managed to take off the entire back rank. So he has 18? Yeah, he has 18 plus the Lord, so there's 19 in that unit. So I think he's got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10. So I've killed a back rank of 9 plus 2. So I killed 11 of them. So not a bad start between these 3 units. But yeah, that's fine. So I'm pretty happy actually in my head at this point. So that's good. Goes on a Highborn Elf 1. He charges Sea Guard into the Heath Hunter. So yeah, plan going well. I was like, yep, cool. That's one unit shooting. That's not shooting at me. I've just got rid of the Queen's Guard. He's moved his dragon up there. So I was like, yep, cool. Just pyroclastic flow. I'm just going to worry about that. He's started moving his Ryman Knights up behind the hill, behind the wall on the right there, so they can cover the left-hand side, so I can't suddenly shoot round with my Heath Hunters. And then he's brought his Frost Phoenix and Sea Spearman round there to threaten the Avatar and the Blade Dancers. I was like, yep, cool. My guy's stubborn. He's in range of the BSB, so I'm not really bothered by that. In Magic. Oh, what did I stop? I stopped Pyroclastic Flow. Yeah, that was the other bit I got wrong. I stopped Pyroclastic Flow. Oh yeah, I won't surprise it. So right, I stopped Pyroclastic Flow and I went, yep, done you here. I've protected my health. I'll find it. You probably won't kill them with the Queen's Guard. Well done. He then put, and I was happy to let Flaming Swords on his Sea Guard because I was like, yeah, fine. Okay, cool. Get Avatar in. Yeah, brilliant. Or I just don't charge you. Cool. Yeah, happy days. Spend an extra turn. Not really that concerned. And then he went Ravenswing and I went, huh. Oh. Oh, so he Ravens Wing over my unit. He kills 4 of them or he kills some of them with the Raven's Wing. So he's sweeping attack. So he's killed some there, and now he's in range with his breath attack on the shooting phase. And I went, oh, well played, sir. So yeah, completely outclassed me there, and that's where the magic. So not only do I have flaming swords on the Sea Guard, which actually, in hindsight, that's what I should have stopped. Because then it risks my charge next turn, and if I get Stone Skin off or something like that, it really does risk me. In shooting, as you can see, he mullers my unit. Oh no, hang on, this is still magic. So he kills 4. So he kills. No, this is in. So his sweeping attack doesn't kill anyone actually, and then he uses the breath attack and only killed 4 of them. But it does cause a panic because they're in leadership A, and my BSB is all the way at the other side of the map. Bit of a risk with Pathfinder as always. Luckily, no one else panics. And then the other shooting shoots another 5. So between the bolt thrower and the Queen's Guard, they shoot 5 off my other Pathfinders. They pass their magic check or their leadership check. And then he wipes out my Heath Hunters. So a good shooting phase overall. And he reforms. So I think I'm still in his front arc. Doesn't matter. Right, so my thought here is, as you can see, I charged my Dryads in and they made it. I also lost 4 on the water going in. That's a bit of a theme this battle, it will come out. But my Avatar failed his charge. I didn't need that much. I needed 8, so it wasn't certain, but I think that would have been game over for the Lothan Sea Guard, because I think he goes in and either kills his lord or which would have minimized the damage, or goes in there. The only downside is I'd let flaming swords off, so that's what I was kind of also like, okay, maybe it's a good thing I didn't let my lord get in there. My Pathfinders do rally, which is good. So this is where I've made a bit of an error, and I don't know whether I haven't got a better picture. So let's have a look. I realised that my wild huntsmen are having a bit of a pickle, and so what I've done is I've tried to move them back over to threaten on the left-hand side here. So if they charge into the Avatar, I can start lumping down this way. What I actually should have done was use these as bait. So what I'd managed then cleverly is I got my dragon out of arc of his dragon. Cool. Also, actually, I think my dragon's okay. It's bigger and tougher, and I think I go through it. And I've moved it up center so I can flaming attack the Queen's Guard. I've also moved up my Pathfinders there and my Heath Hunters. I shouldn't have done that with them. I should have moved them across so another unit is out of arc and just left the only one in range of this dragon is my Pathfinders. I then should have moved my Wild Huntsman back here to give him a really, really difficult option there. And so that he wouldn't want to charge them, or if he did, I'd have some good counter charges. Otherwise, my Blade Dancers didn't really move on the other side. As you can see, I've just moved my. I don't know why. I should have just left my Dryads there. There was no reason for that. I can't remember what my logic was. All I've done is move them closer to the Frost Phoenix. They've moved into the quadrant on the left. I should have just reformed them to 5 wide and gone, I'm just going to sit here all game. And that should have been the policy. As it was, I didn't do it. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that was my fault. That's not a wound on the avatar, by the way. I think that's just a dice roll from something else. Right, so what happens in Magic? So I managed to get Stone Skin off again on Oaken Throne on my Dryads. But what that does mean is he's still wounded on 5s with, luckily, the only good thing is they're not them. In my breath attack with the I do my breath attack, and this is the other bit. I do my breath attack first with my dragon, and it kills 4. And now my Pathfinders, only like one of them can see the unit. I went, oh, James, you fool. So what I should have done was shot these first into them, then these, and then if I needed to, the breath weapon. What I was hoping for, the breath weapon would wipe them out, or these, and then they could shoot there. So I got greedy. And I think that's a lesson here. Don't get greedy. Make sure you concentrate. Concentration of effort, one of the principles of war. Make sure, called concentration of firepower. I should definitely know that. Anyway, I didn't adhere to it, and I've not only have I not killed the bolt thrower, I've left my Heath Hunters in the way of his dragon. I've now got my dragon next to a Dryad unit that's unsupported, and I haven't killed the Queen's Guard. So let's go to combat. So yeah, we got Stone Skin up my end, but he's also got Flaming Swords up. And here's the bad point: he goes first. So yes, he would have been wounding on 6s, but now it's 5s. And he goes first, and he's hitting me on 3s. Yeah, with lightning reflex 3s, but he's also got the Sliverlord, and the Sliverlord does 4 wounds and kills 4 off, and then the remainder do that to me. And I kill about 5 or 6, which is pretty good for only having that many left. So the Dryads actually did okay. It was just me put them in a bad situation. Unfortunately, I'm no longer steadfast. Yes, my general's there. My Bisbee again is on the other side of the board. So they run. He ostensibly does nothing but reform. So I also lose a few more whilst going through. If you look there, so there's them. I've lost 2 more going through the water. So I think I lost 6 just on that one alone. And he reforms he reforms. Basically, firstly what he does is he charges my Dryads out the way so they run away a bit. And then he charges my dragon in the flank. He's also charged the flank of my Pathfinders in the center there, so the one unit that moved forward with his BSB and Queen's Guard, so that's not looking good. And then he also charges here. So I flee with my Heath Hunters. And I haven't got a counter charge here. And the idea was that, okay, he could have a choice. He charged then at my Pathfinders and they passed their panic check. And then he killed, and then he charges. He rolls for his redirect, and he gets into the Heath Hunters. So, do they? That looks like they got moved away. No, my Pathfinders failed their panic check on Terror. That was it. So my Pathfinders failed their panic check, moved back, so they're not going to be able to shoot again. And then he did the decent thing and he charged in. So you can see he's charged in my flank of my dragon with his Sliverlord, so that's not looking good. And he's also charged in them and killed them because I fled. Not a clever one. So in that one bit, I'm potentially going to lose my Pathfinders next turn because they might run off the board. I've lost my Heath Hunters. I'm going to lose my other units of Pathfinders to his BSB units. And there's a really, really, really strong possibility that I lose my dragon this turn. Right, magic. I'm not really sure what to do on magic and which one to stop. I think my big concern was I didn't really have one. I think it was Pyro Flow on. No, it was Flaming Swords because I was like, there's only one chance that my dragon survives and it's Flaming Swords. So I no, yes, and then he gets Flavors of Melody off, and I was like, oh no. So Flavors of Melody not going off was probably my one opportunity to not lose. Yeah, I should have done that actually. I did this wrong. So the way I should have played this, in hindsight. So here's a question. Here's a conundrum that was interesting with the comments. Yeah, because it was a choice between Favor and Melodies. So if I fight Favor and Melodies, I probably don't kill anything. And therefore my combat res is, he's going to cause me some wounds, definitely. And his combat res is through the roof, and he's going to, he's got a flank, a big flank, a charge, a banner, a BSB. So he's already up by 4, minimum there. No, sorry, charge, flank, big flank, banner, BSB. So he's already up by 5. So even if he throws me a champion, I'm going to be at most down by 3. So either that, or because I also didn't challenge for some stupid reason, but I should have. Or do I let him get Flaming Swords off with and then challenge? And he probably goes, okay, I'll do Sliverlord with 6 wounds. I think that was the better option because then I think I could have got him. He'd have gone before the dragon though, so he'd have because if his champion gets pushed at me, I don't mind. That's 5s. I could probably just about save some, and then I squish him and I get 4. So I'd be losing. I'd be rolling on. BSB was in range. No, General was in range, so I'd probably be rolling on 8, and that's a possible win and then a possible stick, and then I just start munching through him. Or yeah, I should have done that. I should have stopped Flavor and Melodies in here and let Flaming Swords, I think. But I'd be open to comments on this one. Doing the maths in my head, I think if I'd stopped Flavor and Melodies, let Flaming Swords off, I'd have challenged. I should have challenged because if he throws me as champion, I might lose on. It's a rerollable 8 discipline check because I probably kill that between that and Thunderstomps. Or he brings his Sliverlord out. I don't think he kills me. And there's a strong possibility that with Thunderstomps and Dragon's attacks, I eat his Sliverlord. Yep, interesting comments though. But note for the second time, use the dragon, let the Flaming Swords off on that one. As it was, he then starts using magic in other areas because I love that. He's between Pyroclastic Flow, he's killed 4 Huntsmen. Sorry, Huntsman. And then his bolt throws carry him off. And I've taken this picture because also it's quite cool. You can see how the sun's coming down. This was in September, so it was coming to the end of the evening, and that's quite a cool picture with the shadows. And it was an eagle eye bolt thrower that took out the last 3. Didn't even bother with the next one. Didn't need it. It was partly blocked off anyway, but just one bolt thrower slotted all 3 of them with 4 shots, 4 shots, 6 shots, 6 shots. But yeah. Oh, sorry, something I did forget. He also charged my avatar in the flank, which I was pretty happy with actually, and so cool. So he puts 4 wounds on me. I don't do very much to him. I don't think I even kill a single model because of that. In fact, yeah. In fact, the only model I think I killed up to this point was one lost through dangerous terrain of the water. He's done that. I failed my panic check because it's pretty much auto. I think it was auto break by this point because I've lost 4 wounds. It's auto break. I go to the dragon and lose a wound, but I've survived. So there is hope. This could go okay. That was far better than the way I did it by not stopping flaming swords and not challenging. I think I have somehow come out of this as a very, very lucky boy. But anyway, that's not great at the moment because also even if I rally, he can charge his dragon out of the way or something, and I could potentially just be charged in his turn. So I need to be quite careful on that. This combat was a bit of an interesting one. So he killed 2, and then So he killed two, and I don't think I killed anything back of his. Maybe one, but they broke. And I'm just trying to think about the order of this. So oh yeah, that was it. It was in reverse. So I rolled the double six for leadership check. Great. I then rolled the double one for how far I fled. I was like, oh, great. And then he rolled the one and the two. So he only moved 3 inches, but he still did to all the units. So I've lost another Pathfinder unit as well, which hasn't helped the situation. So I'm down. I've got one small unit of Pathfinders left. I've lost my Wild Huntsman. My Dragon is on 1 wound and running. Um, and my Dryads are in very, very bad state in the centre and need to rally. Um, I'm, yeah, it's not looking good. Uh, yeah, and I haven't really destroyed any of his units yet. Hmm. Luckily, Hooters at this point basically said, James, you're doing rubbish. Get out of my way and just point me in the right direction and let me do my job, which is what he's good for. So, yeah, on this battle here, he killed a few of them, took off a bat rank. I think I lost by one, but with a rerollable 9, I stayed. And then he absolutely, he pivoted so that my blade dancer would be charging him in the front, which I think was a clever move with what because it did make me think. But in my turn, I went, I've got to do this because I need to chew through this unit quickly before everything else turns up at the wrong time. So I charged my blade dancers in, and yeah, that was it on that one. In my turn, I killed a buttload of him, but also this is how much he's returned and killed of mine, which wasn't helpful because I think he struck at the same time. So he'd have been agility 7, yeah, because of spears, and I'm agility 7. No, I'd have hit first, and then he hit back. And because I didn't choose, I think I should have chosen 3 plus Aegis. But either way, um, so it's looking like that. I think I've got two. I've got my BSB and Banner, BSB, and Champion there, and he's got and my Avatar, and he's got pretty much a large amount of his unit. But I think I'm going to kill them next turn. Luckily, they ran, and I chased them and caught them. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have caught them with the Avatar, and the reason is, and rather than BSB and that, but I think either way I'd have been shot to death next turn, no matter what happened with that. So yeah, I'll put them in a really difficult position in front of all the magic and shooting. So that, but I have finally got some points, and it does mean that my Dryads could potentially hold the neutral zone. A note up to now, I haven't been talking about the deployment because I didn't object to this because I wasn't competing. I think from this turn he was consistently going 1 or 2 above me from pretty much now on. Like Tommy, and we knew he'd won the objective by this point. There was no way between his Queen's Guard and his Sea Guard because he's. So let's go through it. He's got his Ryman Knights on his turn in his deployment. I've got my Dryads in mine, so we're one each. He's got his Sea Guard and his Queen's Guard in the bottom right neutral area, and I've only got small units of Dryads in top left, so he's winning the neutral zone, so he gets +2, so he's getting 3 a turn, I'm only getting 1, so actually he's getting 2 above, so that's been happening well, so we had a look at it, and we worked out, I can't win any longer, we can stop counting now, you win. So he's won the objective as well, so he's already 3 up, and he's killing a lot of my units, so this could be interesting. I also managed to kill his eagle with my Dryads. On his turn, I did at least turn my Dryads at this point to face him, and I made him charge into a wood. I can't flee. He got in, but also he didn't take any DDs on the way in, which was a bit. I was like, oh, darn it. In terms of this case, yeah, I don't know why. This was really stupid. Well, I know, yeah, because I rallied on my turn, same with my Dryads, and I managed to get a Summer's Growth off onto the Dryads, which was good. So I'm back onto 2 wounds with the Dragon, as you can see there. But he managed to charge his Dragon out the way into my Pathfinders because that. So in hindsight, what I should have done was ran. I should have fled. Let's have a look at that. Have we got a good picture? No. Okay, cool. Yeah, there is. So I should have fled there, but I have managed to cause 2 wounds on stand and shoot with 2 units with four shots. So bonus. Hey. It was at this one I again should have challenged. I know I had used my breath weapon, but that's going to end one way at this point. I just like to point out I hadn't tilted at this point. I was just making bad decisions from the word go of this game. It was a really, really good fun game. Tommy was a brilliant opponent. It was really, really fun. And we had some great moments with dice. Like I showed you with the overrun. But so I wasn't tilting, absolutely not. I was just making much worse decisions than he was, and he played this game really well. He was on his own game, on his decisions, I thought, and I just wasn't. I was moving units, like moving the Wild Huntsman away from aimlessly and not actually thinking, right, where is he going to charge next, and how do I combat that? How do I set something up so at least if he charges, I can threaten him or at least go after him? And I wasn't thinking like that. So as this one was going to go badly, I knew. Um, in terms of that, he's also blocked his Eagle off, so I can't. If it does, by some freak chance, my dragon does hold. My dryads can't go into the rear of them, into the rear of his sea guard in the center there. And then in Magic, he buffs the sea guard just in case the Avatar. I don't think the Avatar could get in, but just so we can kill off the dragon, so he doesn't get there. And then he's put, um, but in combat, yeah, he kills the Pathfinders off. Apart from shooting, again, his bolt throwers come to town and kill. Firstly, one of them kills the rest of the blade dancers and puts a wound on the BSB, and then the last one here absolutely knocks over the BSB. So that was possibly going to happen either way, but with the overrun, what I've done is I've put them into short range, which wasn't clever. So, yep, he kills them. So he kills enough of them and he breaks steadfast. And I was like, oh no. And then they run and they get overrun by their thing, and they just get eaten alive. I think I asked him, "You roll your attacks. Let's see if whatever's left I can do it." But I think his mage kills them even before the dragon does, so it was quite funny. Um, and then in this one, yeah, I didn't get a swing. I should have challenged, but I think I think if I challenged, his Sliver Lord would have killed me anyway. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But that's very much this flank is in a bit of a state. Uh, in my turn 4, what I do is yes, so you see, look at this. There are some Queen's Guard there in the centre. And again, Hooters is like, just keep pushing me forward. I'll get you some points. Don't worry. We've taken the Spearman unit. I've got the Spearman unit. Put me near the Queen's Guard. The one time, I've got no magic left anyway. The one time the shooting attack does well, I was like, yes, thank you. That is a lot of points. It's about 600 points or something. He gets in and absolutely pulls it off because obviously because the thing ignores cover, doesn't ignore no hard target or and it's not accurate, but it does ignore cover. So he absolutely punks those 3 Queen's Guard. Great, leaving only the BSB. So maybe I can take out the BSB next turn, or I go towards the bolt throwers. I'm not that bothered. If his Sea Guard wants to wants to charge into me, be my guest. Absolutely be my guest. I am not bothered. Um, and then in combat also I've charged these Great Eagle, so I've cleared the center a bit, so that's good. But I'm still not in a positive place. I can't go back into the objective into an equal state, so I'm still drawing the neutral. So I actually, yeah. So, but I'm now facing off against his Queen's Guard. But what I don't want to do is run across the water. I was like, no, I'm just going to stay this side. If you want to run into me, that's fine, but I'm staying over here. Oh no, why did I overrun? Did I charge? No, I killed his eagle. Why did I do that? Okay, so it turns out I am an idiot and I overran right in front of his spearman. What was I thinking? Oh yeah, I know. I want. Why was that? I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, that was a mistake because they were going to charge anyway, and even if his Seagull went into the Avatar, I was like, okay, I'd have had enough time, I reckon, to chew through the unit and the Sliver Lord. Right, that was stupid, but I've done that, and I lost a few models on the way over. As you can see, I think I've lost about 10 Dryads this game to that one water feature on dangerous terrains. Anyway, on his turn, he charges both the dragon and the Sea Guard in, and the other bit he does is he hides his BSB Lord round there. What he hit it out of shooting. Well, no, he didn't hit it out of shooting range, and he hadn't hit it out of combat, I think he was planning maybe he could reform or thing, but actually he just wanted to move it further away, his BSB, so that it would make it more difficult for me. Whilst if my Dryads weren't killed and he got to overrun, he was going to overrun north or up the board towards my avatar. He's brought his Rhino Knights round so that they're still competing this side of the objective, and they're not in threat of being charged by my avatar, but by putting them there, I was like, okay, there's an overrun here. So if he doesn't get into my avatar, that is an opportunity for me to kill the bolt thrower and overrun into the Rhino Knights, and they don't have a champion, so he was okay. In combat, so sorry, I brought my other Dryad unit here. I don't know why. Okay, that was it. This is what I mean. I was making bad decisions. So instead of keeping my other Dryads around the house, where I could have possibly just hid them for 2 turns and kept them alive, I brought them out. And spoiler alert. Oh, I did cause the unit to the Frost Phoenix last game. Last with the other unit. The Frost Phoenix eats the Dryads. In this combat, he's managed to get off a Fountain of Youth so he can get off one of the wounds on his dragon, and I can't see that spell on the other side. I am not entirely sure, but in shooting he does nothing to my avatar, and in combat we just sort of have a bit of a, well, he wipes out the unit -1 Dryad, and I kill for Seaguard, and that was pretty much it. He opts to overrun and does not make it. What did he have there? Altered side? Oh no, we got Awaken the Beast off. That was it. I stopped Flaming Swords because I was like, okay, you can have Awaken the Beast because my avatar's flammable. So that's Flaming Swords now is the big one. But he did kill the Dryad, but he didn't get to my avatar. So now here we go. Hooters at this point is like, yep, let's stick to plan. Let's not do anything stupid. And I got into the repeat bolt thrower and I was like, yep. So I've done that. I kill the bolt thrower and I get into his Rhino Knight. So everything going as to plan. So hopefully next turn, barring any messes around, I can chew through his Rhino Knights. Here's turn 5. He goes for this charge here. It's not a long one, so it's like, yeah, it's coming in. I was a bit concerned about this with the Sliver Lord, but I knew the mass, so maybe as long as I can stop Flaming Swords, this plays in my favour. That's him into my flank. So I looked at this, and this was going to come down to whether I could survive my Leadership 9 discipline check. That was probably what it was going to be. Otherwise, he's charged my Dryad unit with his Phoenix, and yes, he kills him. We'll see the magic later, but he's got the 3 Dryads killed. I'm in a flank there. He makes me run. Right. So here, I let him go Awaken the Beast off, and I stop. No, what did I want to stop? I wanted to stop Flavor of Melodies. Yeah. So I let him get Awaken the Beast off, and I think I stopped Flaming Swords. I'm just trying to see. No, he got Flavor of Melodies off on. I had to let Flavor of Melodies do and go and hope that I could kill enough wounds off his Lord from my attacks and Thunderstomp. So we had Flavor of Melodies and Awaken the Beast off, and I punk his Lord. He goes first, does nothing to me, and I mean nothing. The Lord is still fine, and I kill his Lord. So I've taken his general. He punks my unit. Oh yeah, sorry, that was it. On this turn, this is what's funny. So I'm down. So let's count this up. He's killed 3 of me. That wound on the Frosty was done last with the other Dryad unit. So I'm from a Leadership 8 down to a Leadership 5 in the wounds, charge Leadership 4, flank Leadership 3. So I need a 2 and a 1, or a double 1, one of them. And you see those 2 dice there? That is what I rolled. So somehow my Dryads survived the first round. It was amazing. They're not going to survive the rest because I couldn't roll that again to reform, because maybe I'd have had a chance there, but no. But yeah. In my turn 6, he's wiped out the Western Bar 2. I don't do any wounds back. And yeah, he chases, but he doesn't catch them. But all I can do in my turn is either rally or not rally, and then he... Oh no, it's my turn, so it's his turn next. So his turn, he can charge them and kill them next turn. In this round, he doesn't. He's done there, so he feeds me his champion now, and I kill that. So but I managed to still stick. So I'm chewing through the unit, and there's a possibility I was looking at next turn. I remember looking at this thinking he's never going to charge his dragon in. He won't charge his dragon in. And I was like, okay, I get a choice here now. It's like, do I just punk in on the Sea Guard and then also the Thunderstorms to see if I can break them, or do I do something else? He charges them in and kills them, and he charges the dragon in. I was like, ah, okay, because it hasn't got an Aegis, I don't think. So I was thinking, yeah, I can do this. The only one I've got to stop is Flaming Swords. That's it. I don't care about anything else. So in Magic, or Flaming Melodies, but in Magic, he doesn't really. He has a bad phase. He doesn't get anything off, and it's really, really bad. So I put 3 wounds into his. I managed to get 3 wounds out of 4 on his dragon. So I think I still need to double check this. Lucky Sixes said that was meant that I get half points for dragon, so we count that up. But is it below 50% or is it 50% or below? Sorry, 25% or below. Because it was a young dragon, that was there. But I was 1 wound away from getting the whole points on that one. And then also I roll really high for that, and I kill 5 on Thunderstomps from the Sea Guard. So I still think I lost. No, did I? Charge, rear, flank, big flank. No wounds on me. Banner, right. So he's up by 7, but I've done. I think I won. I actually think I won. No, I can't have won. Either way, none of us won. So that would have been quite funny if I'd gone for it and killed a load of units in the final turn. But in short, Hooters has managed to finish off a spearman unit by overrunning it early. He's shot off the final bits of the Queen's Guard unit. He's killed a bolt thrower, tied up a Rymanize, got charged by Sea Guard, and killed the Sliver Lord, the champion, and a bunch of models. And he's got me half points on the dragon. So well done, Hooters, for that. But that's the end of the game. And as you can see, it's been a rout, I think is the technical term. Um, I hands up to Tommy. Tom, you played an absolute blinder throughout the whole of that. You deserve to win, whether it's tactics, players looking at the objective and knowing how you're going to do it. Yeah, yeah, I was just totally outplayed. And he got about 4,000 points off me. Luckily, Hooters went mental, and accounted for. I'm trying to think. Well, I suppose the Blade Dancers did do a bit on the Spearmen, so we can do that as half a kill. It's been like, and the Dryads did kill the giant eagle, but everything else was the Avatar. Yeah, so otherwise at 14-6 without objective, and then he won. Sorry, that secondary should be Highborn Elves. That's apologies, that's not. So Highborn Elves got the 17, I got the 3, which meant I was on 25 going at the end of day 1, and I think Tom was shot off into the stratosphere ahead of me. But it was a really fun game, a great end into the day. It was done in a nice time, so I got to go around and have a look at all the lots of the other games as well. I got to finally explore Firestorm a bit more because it's a really nice venue. I fully love it, but it's just, you know how a tournament is, and it's quite busy, and you're bouncing through, and then at the end of the day to finish quite early on the final one and just have a quick gander in the shop and stuff was really, really good. But yeah, no, so on 25, going into game 4, which is another, it's a cool different deployment as well, so I was looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with my results at the end of day 1. I think I was going into this tournament looking for a 40 which is sort of my level. I'm on 25, so it's still within my grasp. I'd love to be a little bit closer, maybe even a couple of points just to bring it down so that I could have a loss and a win. But yeah, so I need 15 out the next day to get my answer. But thank you very much for watching. This is AAA Wargaming, and thank you, Lucky Sixes, for a wonderful game. Look forward to seeing your version of this battle report. Hope you have a good weekend.